Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabby, if you are not already familiar with me. I love to talk all things personal finance, organization, and lifestyle. Today's video is going to be a net worth update video. I recently turned 31 and I can now say this is my net worth at 31 years old. I've done, I think, 3 previous videos for my net worth. I usually do 2 a year. Every 6 months or so, I will update you guys on my net worth journey. And we definitely have some updates. I typically have a little bit of a lengthier intro for these videos, so I think I'm just gonna dive right into things. I will leave a timestamp on the screen for when my net worth starts, because I know people get upset with long intros, but I do hope that you listen to the intro because it is really important on the context of my financial background. And I think that plays a huge role because I did have a lot of help. I started at a different place than a lot of other people do. This is an important portion to cover. I have done a video entirely on my financial privilege, which I will leave up in the cards. In that video, I talk about all of the privileges I had growing up that definitely made my life a lot easier when starting my net worth journey. To give a little quick rundown of that entire video, I basically grew up in a household where finances were not a big stressor for us. I did grow up with only one parent working, but I never heard them talking about us being in a bad financial situation. We were always living well below our means. We did not have any issues with like debt or anything like that. That has definitely carried through into my philosophy on money. My dad often talked about investing, often told me the importance of saving your money and investing. So I just grew up knowing that that was the right thing to do. They also kindly paid for my post-secondary education, so I did not have any debt when I was leaving university. I have had cars gifted to me. I have had them help me out with money whenever I need a hand. So I've never really had a reason to take out any sort of long-term big debts, and that did help me a ton. Obviously, when you're starting out your net worth journey at a negative point compared to 0, it's gonna be a big head start. Now I'll talk a little bit about my financial journey and how I've gotten to this point today. I started my career 7 years ago. My starting salary then was $55,000. I have a degree in mechanical engineering, and over the last 7 years, I've raised my salary up to $98,000 right now. I have also, throughout that time, taken on side hustles. So during COVID, I was delivering groceries for Instacart, and 2 years ago, I decided to start my small business. I sell digital products online here on Etsy and Gumroad, and then obviously I have this YouTube channel and other social media income. So that has grown quite a bit in the last 2 years, and it is becoming a considerable portion of my overall income. And that has allowed me to put a lot more money into investing. And my primary financial goal right now at this point in my life is to put as much money into investing as I possibly can so I can make my life easier in the future. I am fully aware that once I have kids and a family, that putting money aside and investing as much as I currently do is gonna be a lot harder. I am trying to front load that work right now while it's easy for me. And hopefully that means that I will have a stable and healthier relationship with money when life is a little bit more difficult. And then also I do have plans to do some sort of FIRE. I don't think I want to do like traditional FIRE, but barista FIRE, or just having a job that gives me joy, like any sort of part-time work I can do in the future. I just don't want to have to make a certain income every single year to be able to retire. That makes me feel cornered and a little bit scared. So my goals are definitely to invest for the long term and to get as much compound interest in the market as I possibly can. My tips for building your net worth, obviously, if you have debt and things like that, like tackle that first, especially high interest debt. Anything above like 5 to 6%, I would say, is something that you should prioritize paying off as soon as possible. But once you're able to get into a position where you're growing your net worth, I would highly recommend setting up automatic investments. This has been the #1 thing that has helped me on my journey. I feel like a broken record because I'm constantly talking about this, but I don't know where I would be if I would have had to personally put aside money every single paycheck for investing. The automatic just makes it feel like it's not even my own money. I have also never had any sort of retirement match or investing match at work. I've always done all of the investing on my own. For that reason, I find it's even more critical for me to have those automatic investments set up because I treat it as though I have a retirement match at work. This is basically not my money. I've never seen my investment money as like something I can spend. It is set aside for for this financial goal of mine, and that is that I do not turn it off. I have never turned them off, and that is the biggest thing I can probably say that has helped me on my journey. So when I first started about 7 years ago, I started with $150. Every single paycheck was getting put into investments, and now today I invest $1,100 every single time I get paid. As I've made more money, as I get bonuses, as I get any extra income, I have slowly turned up the dial on my automatic investments. I will say that that first $100,000 is definitely the hardest to get to. That was the slog. That was when I felt like I wasn't making any gains. It felt like saving versus investing. And then once you hit that $100,000, there's like this magical thing that happens where the compounding just starts to take off. And we will look at my numbers, comparing them to just like a year or 2 years ago. And the amount of growth I've had in these 2 years is insane. There's no way I have deposited that much money into these accounts. It is just market growth and compound interest. That is my spiel about how you as well can grow your net worth. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I am wearing the exact same sweater I wore for last year's net worth update. I thought that could be a fun little tradition to maybe bring back the sweater every single year. Okay, let's dive into numbers. I know you guys are patiently waiting for me to dive into the actual numbers. Here you go. Net worth is made up of assets minus liabilities. I will start off with the asset portion because my liabilities are small, as I mentioned. Let's talk about cash first. So all of my cash right now sits in my WealthSimple cash accounts. And I love WealthSimple for this because every single cash account they have is a high yield savings account. So I am making a competitive interest rate. So my checking account is a high yield savings account. My savings accounts are obviously high yield savings accounts, but this is really helpful because I know that I'm not losing buying power with that money just because of inflation. I'm at least matching inflation. I do have quite a bit of cash, I will say that, but a good chunk of it is set aside for my business taxes, which is basically not my money, so maybe I shouldn't include it in this video, but I did in my last one, so I'm just gonna do it for continuity. If you are a Canadian and you are interested in WealthSimple, I will leave a referral code in the description box down below. I am a ride or die WealthSimple girl. I'm such a stan. I have had it since I started my career, so 7 years ago as well. That was my first deposit into my investing account was with WealthSimple, and now I entirely bank with WealthSimple. I just absolutely love them. They're the best, especially if you're a visual person. They have the best visuals in the app just for visualizing how your money is growing, and it is so motivating. So I highly recommend them. I believe if you use the code, you get money, I get money. It's kind of a win-win for everyone involved. Okay, let's start with my checking account. So I currently have $3,200 sitting in my checking account. I used to keep a lot less money in my checking. I used to have like $100 to $200 sometimes, and I have just started to keep over the $3,000 mark in this account because our rent is automatically taken out of my checking account. So that's about $2,700. And I have had a situation where I had a little bit less than that and then it bounced and we had some fees relating to that. I am just from now on always gonna keep $3,000 in this account. My total amount of savings is $41,770. Very large number, and this is definitely up from my last few videos. I think the last video was like 30 something. I'll put all of the previous numbers up on the screen so you guys can see them. A good chunk of this obviously is my small business taxes, and at the end of the year I'm obviously have a lot more of those than at the beginning of the year when it was tax season. $16,315 is currently sitting in my side hustle account. And then everything left over, so 41,000 minus that 16,000 is my emergency fund and my sinking funds. I like to keep around $12,000 to $15,000 in my emergency fund at any given point, but because I'm also a sinking fund person, I have a lot of money in sinking funds. If an emergency were to ever happen, I would obviously just use those sinking funds towards my emergency, so I don't feel the need to have a larger emergency fund. Experts do recommend about 6 months of fixed expenses in your emergency fund. And this is the first step of financial anything. I think this is the first thing anyone should do. Even if it's only 3 months to get started, I think that having an emergency fund is non-negotiable. Okay, next up, let's talk investments. This is the fun of the video. Okay, so if you are unfamiliar with Canadian investing accounts, I will quickly cover the investing accounts I am currently using here and like what the benefits are. So the RRSP is the retirement savings plan here in Canada. It's not a savings plan, it's an investment account, but this account basically lowers your taxable income for the year, so therefore you pay less tax every single year, and hopefully you're putting that additional money that you're keeping in your pocket into investments, and then that's compounding over time. You do have to pay tax on these eventually when you retire, but hopefully you're at a lower tax bracket at that point. Next is the TFSA, or the tax-free savings account. Once again, not a savings account, investment account, but this account basically does not tax you on your gains. So every dollar you make extra in this account is not taxed, and for that reason, it is one of my like long-term long-term investing accounts. I want this account to grow as much as humanly possible so I can avoid as much tax as humanly possible. And then next up is the FHSA, or the First Home Savings Account. This is exactly as it sounds, an account for saving up for your first home. You have to be a first-time home buyer, and then also if your spouse has to be a first-time home buyer as well. Me and David, neither of us own any property, so we're both saving in these accounts at this point. And this is an amazing account. It has both of the benefits of the previous two investing accounts. This is definitely my favorite investing account. And part of the reason I probably haven't purchased property at this point is because I want to use this account as much as humanly possible. The max contributions to this account is $40K total. It's $8,000 a year, $40K total. I think we'll probably look at buying once we max out these accounts, both of us, because it's too good. It's too good in the meantime. Let's do a total for all of my investing accounts before I break it down. I will be showing my net worth tracker on the screen, but before that, I just want to give the total numbers. Currently in my investments, I have $256,905. I couldn't believe it when I saw it, to be completely honest, you guys. And in April of this past year, my investments were sitting at $174,597. That's a huge difference. That's like $70K in the last 8 months. And then a year ago, when I filmed this video, my investments were sitting at $164,905. A lot has happened in that time frame. Obviously, the market is completely different. We were at the lows of the lows after Trump took office in April. So my investments basically went sideways after that first video, and now obviously they're way higher because the markets have caught back up and they're doing exceptionally well. Is the economy doing well? Unknown, but the markets are doing well. So yeah, that is a lot of growth in the last few months. And I will talk a little bit more about exactly how much I have personally contributed, and then we can have a bigger look at how much has grown just from compound interest. I have my net worth tracker up on the screen. This is included in the 2025 budget tracker. So if you already have the 2025 budget tracker, you already have this. And if you do not want to buy a budget tracker, like if you use any sort of other method of budgeting, you can still purchase the net worth tracker in my Etsy shop. I will leave the link down below. There's also 50% off discount code. So use the code. I see some people not using the code. Just a heads up, there's 50% off. So this is the net worth calculator, and this is great because it pulls all of your numbers from your budget tracker. It will estimate what your net worth will be depending on an annual rate of return if you want to use that, or you can also just use your actual numbers in the investment value calculator. This is personally what I like to do because I like to track exactly how much money and values of each stock or ETF that I have. And then I will just copy these numbers over to the net worth overview, and that way I can get an accurate look at what my net worth is. Let's look at the total investments here. In my retirement account, I have $149,253. This account has had a glow up. I was looking at my video from a year ago, and I think I was sitting at $69,000 in this account at that point. So I have put in some work in this account, and I'm super excited about this growing as much as it has. It's really exciting to see. My TFSA, oh yes, I should mention, I am using self-driven investing accounts. So I'm specifically picking out the ETF or the stock myself, but I used to use the managed accounts with WealthSimple. They were also incredible. I was a huge fan of the managed accounts, especially if you don't know exactly what to buy. I highly recommend the managed accounts. But once I got more familiar with investing and I know more now, I decided to do the self-driven mode, especially also because I have a family member that is my financial advisor, so I can bounce ideas off of them. So my TFSA is currently sitting at $66,336. Oh yes, I have completely missed talking about my inheritance. I have an inheritance from when my grandma passed away. She passed away extremely young, 58 years old, and obviously she was prepped for retirement for the rest of her life. So she had a big nest egg that was given to me, my brother, my cousin, that sort of thing. And that was invested in at 2007, 2008, around that time. And it was a decent chunk of change. And obviously that has been compounding in the market ever since. So a good chunk of my overall actual net worth is my inheritance, but I always only include what I personally have invested myself in this video, just because I want this to be more of a I did it, you can do it too sort of video. I don't want to come on and be like, look at my giant net worth, and a good chunk of it was given to me. So that's why I only show what I have personally invested in this video. You will see my TFSA looks like it is not anywhere near the value it should be if it's maxed out, but I promise my TFSAs are all maxed out. I just have a large portion of my inheritance in my TFSAs because I obviously didn't want to pay tax on it. The last few years, I have been solely contributing to my TFSA. And yes, that is currently at $66,336. And I will put previous numbers from the previous videos up on the screen as well, so you can see the growth in these accounts. My FHSA is currently at $31,455. I believe this is my third year contributing to this account, so the max I could have contributed at this point is $18,000. No, it must be my fourth year contributing to this account, because that doesn't make any sense. So I think my total deposits into this account must be $24,000, and it's currently sitting at $31,000. So that is a good chunk of growth in that account. Very happy with that. Next, we have my crypto account. As I mentioned in previous videos, I do not purchase crypto in this account. I am currently buying Bitcoin and Ethereum in my tax advantage accounts using the Fidelity tickers that track Bitcoin and track Ethereum. So I don't actually have to buy physical Ethereum and crypto, because obviously that is taxed regularly. So I want to take advantage of the tax advantage accounts first. If I max those out, then I could start purchasing crypto here, but I haven't in years. So this is currently sitting at $6,157, which I think is the exact same of what it was in my last video, if I'm not mistaken. And this changes a lot day to day. I see it up, I see it down, and that's just the nature of crypto, unfortunately. And then next, I have a non-registered account. So this is basically just a regular investing account, no tax advantages. I one year got mucked up and thought I'd maxed everything out, so I started investing in this account, and this is a managed account with WealthSimple. So it's a robo-advisor, and I like to keep one robo-advisor account just to sort of see what the trend lines are with how much returns they are getting, and they've done very, very well. I think I'm at 48% up in this account, something like that. Very happy with the returns on that very small account. $256,905 total invested. So I've officially hit 250K invested, and I am extremely close to my annual net worth goal of 300,000. I'm gonna call it that I've basically made it, because I'm about to get paid in 2 days. So in 2 days, this number will be over 300,000. And I think that is extremely cool. And I think it was only a year ago that I hit 200,000 net worth totals. In a year, I've basically been able to add 100K onto my net worth. And I will talk more about how much I've actually contributed to my net worth, because a lot of that is gains. So let's have a look at just some of the visuals overall. You can see this net worth growing throughout the year. I'm not the best at updating my net worth every single month. If you see like a big jump, like I think the June, July jump here, that was because I was using the estimated rate of return of 10% between these months that I did not actually add in my values. But July, I went in and added accurate numbers. These big jumps are kind of misleading, but yeah, you can see that overall my net worth has grown considerably this year, which is really cool. Asset allocation, I currently have about 14.7% cash, which is on the higher end. I think most experts say around 10% cash, but obviously my side hustle business taxes, that's important to have. So I think I'm sitting at a good number overall here. I do have a vehicle. I did include that in my net worth, I think 2 videos ago, but I've decided to remove it because lots of people were really fired up about it. They said your car is not an asset. I own my car outright, so I disagree. My car definitely is an asset. If I absolutely needed to, I could sell it tomorrow. But because I plan on driving my car into the ground or until it is too much of a nuisance, I will not include it in my net worth, because I'm not actually planning on taking any value out of it. While we're here, we should cover liabilities. Obviously, net worth is assets minus liabilities. So my total liabilities is just whatever is sitting on my credit cards right now, which is currently $5,973. This is made up of my personal credit card and then my couple's credit card with my partner. Taking all of my total assets and subtracting my liabilities, we are at that beautiful $299,000. Stunning. So exactly how much money have I put into my net worth this year? Let's take a look. So I'm on the annual tracker tab. This is in my budget tracker, and I love this because at any point in the year, you can come in, have a look at exactly how much you have saved, invested, how much you're spending, all of that amazing information. So this is just like something I'm constantly looking at. So you can see that my savings rate for the year is 51%. So that is both savings and investments. So 51% of what I brought in this year, I have saved, and that feels crazy. Obviously, a portion of that is taxes, not actually my money. I have to give that away, but I'm gonna take this gorgeous number. I don't care. I will say that I have a 51% savings rate because that is so cool. So I'm gonna go down to my annual investments right here. So you can see this year I've already invested $35,600, and I'm on track to hit about 40K. That will definitely be the most I have ever invested in a single calendar year, and I owe a lot of that to you guys. I obviously been able to contribute so much more to investments because I have brought in more income, and that income is strictly because you guys watch my videos and support and like and all of that. So I'm very extremely grateful for your guys' support. I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. Let's also have a look at annual savings. You can see here I've saved $35,000 this year, but I have also taken $12,500 out of savings. So let's call that 20K I have saved, a little over 20K. I have saved about 20K and then I have invested 35K. So somewhere like 55K I have raised my net worth myself this year. And that total amount, let's have a look back at the net worth tracker. So yeah, I have raised my net worth about 100K since about a year ago. So 55K of that was actual contributions, 45K of that was just market gains and compound growth. If that isn't a testament to investing, I don't know what is. Basically, I have another side job, and my side job is that my money is doing work for me. And this is the most important part about personal finance that people, I think, get wrong. A lot of people think that saving is saving, but saving is never going to get you to $1 million. You're never going to be able to save $1 million. That would be extremely hard on any higher income. To get to $1 million, you need to invest, because the compound growth is the only way you're going to get there. So when you see people who are millionaires, who have done really well for themselves, who maybe don't even actually have that high of salaries, and you're kind of wondering how the heck did they do that? It's because of investing. It's not because they put their money underneath their mattress. Your money loses value every single year that you have it sitting in your pocket. As I mentioned, if you are not investing, if you're risk adverse or you're saving for a house or a down payment or something like that, at least make sure your money is sitting in a high yield savings account, so at least you're not losing buying power on that money. Okay, you guys. Final thoughts. I'm really proud of myself. I don't ever want these videos talking about my net worth to come across as bragging and that sort of thing. It is a lot of just me wanting to share exactly how I have been able to do this, and I genuinely believe that if I can do this, anyone can. At the end of the day, all you need to do is make sure you spend less than you earn. That is the number one thing. I think a lot of people think the only way to build wealth is to have a high income, and yes, that can be true because it is so hard to live on less at this point in society. Like, society is just expensive right now, and so to some extent you do need to make a competitive wage. But if you find ways to lower the amount that you're spending, maybe it's moving in with your parents, maybe it's, you know, getting rid of your car if you don't absolutely need it. Those sorts of things can be the difference, where you can put that extra money into investments, and then this is what's going to happen when you just stick to it. This is 7 years. This is not a quick fix. This is not, you know, 6 months from now I have all this money gained. It's not that. This is a slow, unsexy process, but it is so addicting. I promise you, once you start seeing these gains and once you see them grow and grow and grow and get to a point where you're like, I can't even comprehend how this is growing so quickly, it is so addicting. It is such a better form of dopamine hit versus just shopping all the time. If you're currently spending everything you make, definitely consider just starting with even like a $10 deposit every paycheck, and then just slowly over time inch that up, and who knows, maybe you'll be investing as much as I am in a couple of years. Those are my final thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that this is educational and entertaining in some way. Please consider subscribing. I really would appreciate it. My big goal for the year was to hit 25K subs, so we're so close, and I can feel it, I can taste it, but I would really appreciate if you consider subscribing. I do lots of personal finance content. I go through my budget tracker every single month. You can see exactly what I'm spending my money on and how much I'm putting in investments and savings. So if you're interested in that, definitely consider subscribing. Give this video a like. It really helps with engagement, and consider leaving a comment. I really appreciate that as well. Can't wait to talk to you guys in the comments down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.